right. I think that does it, right? Yeah. Okay, so problem number 4 is next. And problem number 4 is doing a reconciliation when all you have is an information paragraph. So it's just going to be another reconciliation. It's just a slightly different way of doing it. I call it the alphabet soup way. Basically, you're going to get a paragraph of information. This one says on September 5th, Anna received her bank statement showing a balance of $5,595.37. Her checkbook showed a balance of $5,489.01. The statement showed that the bank had collected a note for Ann in the amount of $2,000. There's also a returned item of $550 and an NSF fund charge of $25. The deposits in transit totaled $3,261.14, and the outstanding checks were for $262.07, $467.50, and $1,212.93. We're going to use the form below to reconcile Ann's account. So once again, we have the reconciliation form, and it's 3 parts. The first part gives us the checkbook balance. This is the current balance in the checkbook, to which we add any interest earned or credits that the bank was aware of that the checkbook did not have information on. We then subtotal that and deduct any service charges or debts. These would be any service charges imposed by the bank or any debts that had to be repaid and taken out of your account. These would be debts that you would not necessarily have notice of, or possibly debts that the bank knew of first before you did. And then that would give us the adjusted checkbook balance. The second part of the reconciliation worksheet begins with the bank balance, current bank balance, adds in any deposits that the bank does not have on the statement, subtotal it, deducts any checks or other credits that were taken out of your account that the bank is not aware of yet, perhaps a check that has not been cashed or that's in transit in the mail, and then that would leave us with an adjusted balance statement. The third part of the reconciliation statement is simply a listing place for the checks so that they can be listed individually and totaled. All right. We'll begin with this reading. On September 5th, bank statement shows a balance of $5,595.37. That is not the checkbook balance, that is the statement balance. Her checkbook showed a balance of $5,489.01. So the checkbook balance of $5,489.01 goes here where it says checkbook balance. I'm going to draw a light line through that. That lets me know that I've used that information and I do not need to refer to it again. The statement, that's the bank statement, showed that the bank had collected a note for Ann in the amount of $2,000. Now, when a bank collects a note for you, that means that the bank is depositing that money into your account. So that would be an addition, earned interest or credit. That's a $2,000 credit that the bank is putting into your account. How could the bank know about $2,000 that you did not? Well, maybe that $2,000 is a CD that came due. Maybe it's your tax return. This would be money that the bank is putting into your account for you. And maybe you just haven't been notified yet. So with those two, I now need my subtotal of $7,489.01. Were there any deductions or other debts? Well, it says here there was a returned item of $550. A returned item is a fancy way of saying a bounced check. This situation would occur if you accepted a check for $550 from someone who did not have $550 in their account. This has happened to me once. I once accepted a check way back. I was in my 20s. It was quite a few years ago. But I accepted a check for a concert. It was like an $80 check, let's say, $80-ish for a concert. And unfortunately, the young lady did not have $80 in her account. So I had deposited the check. A few days later, I get a call from the bank saying there were insufficient funds. They're taking the $80 out of my bank account. And not only that, but they're also going to charge me, I think it was $35 for the hassle that it caused the bank. So the gal wrote me a check for $80 and it's going to cost me almost $120, $115. It is not at all unusual for the bank not only to take the money out of your account, but then to charge you a fee because you accepted a check from somebody who didn't have the money. So in the deductions, not only are we going to have to deduct the $550 for the check that they took the money out of the account, but we also have to take off $25 for the NSF fee. Now, I'm writing them out separately. In an actual problem, we would probably just put that in as $575. But I want you to see where the $575 came from. So I'm putting them in individually, right? Just to be clear, in most cases, we would just write the $575 there. This would give us, after we deduct the $550 and the $25, this would give us an adjusted checkbook balance of $6,914.01. All right, so $6,914.01. Now we're going to go to the second part of this. I want to cross through that because I used it, and I want to cross through that because I used it, and now Bixby's talking to me. Bixby is the worst. I just want to say. Bixby, which is a Samsung Siri, he's awful. All right, not my favorite. Okay, so I've used all that information. Where am I? Okay, current statement balance. This is the $5,595.37. Got it. Were there any deposits in transit? This is why I like the word soup ones. When you do these paragraph ones, quite often, exactly what you're looking for. It says add deposits in transit. And look up here in the words, it says deposits in transit. $3,261.14. So it's right there for me. I don't need to think too hard about it. When I total those, I get $8,856.51. Now, outstanding checks. Notice this column says checks outstanding. Same idea. I have 3 of them for $262.07, for $467.50, and $1,212.93. When I have all 3 of those individual, I can check them one by one, which is why we write them out one by one. But I really just need the total here of $1,942.50. So $1,942.50 is going to be what I subtract. And I get $6,914.01. Notice again, if you truly have a reconciliation, these 2 numbers will be the same. They will not be different. They will be the same number in a reconciliation. On to problem number, what are we doing next? We doing 5 next? No, 5 and 6 are up to you. I'll give you the answer key, and then we're going to do 7. So on to problem number 7.